The Jimmy Z Show.
Hi, Jimmy Z here. Today I have a special interview with a White House insider. He is with the Office of Science and Technology Policy, and we're going to use the name Joe. Joe has been with the Office of Science and Technology Policy at the White House the entire time Obama has been in office, and Joe is taking quite a risk today, talking to us about something that no one outside of the White House knows about. Joe is on a prepaid anonymous mobile phone, which will be discarded after our conversation. Joe is also in an undisclosed location, and his voice will be altered. Joe, I want to thank you very much for joining me on the Jimmy Z Show.
Thank you for having me on, Jimmy. We need to get this interview over so that I can discard the phone. What I'm doing here is very, very risky.
Well, I know that, and when you came to me with this information that we're going to talk about right now, I knew that this is something that no one is reporting, and no one knows what's going on.
Well, as you realize, this is something that is so outrageous and so dangerous that the White House has kept it very, very hush-hush. There is no way that they want any of this to come out, and I am under great personal risk, and my family is placed in danger because I am talking to you about this now.
We might as well get to it then. You want to set the stage for what has been happening in the Office of Science and Technology?
The first thing that your listeners need to know, and it's probably not a surprise, is that the Obama Office of Science and Technology Policy has been very concerned about supposed global warming.
But I take it by the way you're saying that you're not convinced.
No, and that's a separate issue. I don't want to get into the entire argument about global warming. I don't have time. But the fact is, and again, it's probably not a surprise to anyone, that the Obama White House is still very concerned about global warming.
All right, fair enough.
Okay, so someone in the Office of Science and Technology came up with this idea, this theory that is not based, in fact, that is completely out of left field, both literally and figuratively, that the tides are dangerous and that the increasing and decreasing of tides, as the oceans rise and fall, can be and should be stopped.
Now, let me pause on that because I want to make sure people get this. There are people in the Office of Science and Technology Policy at the White House who believe that the rising and falling of tides needs to be stopped.
Yes, that's it. Exactly right. 100% true. There are people in this office that I work in the Office of Science and Technology Policy, that want to stop the rising and falling of the tides.
Okay, so if that wasn't scary enough, now tell my listeners how they intend to do this.
Well, the first thing that you need to realize is how utterly preposterous it is, this thinking, this belief that the rising and falling of tides is dangerous to mankind. It's absolutely false. The rising and falling of tides is as natural as anything else that the globe does, and I am deeply troubled by this kind of radicalism and the politics involved in science now.
Well, of course, and you'll get no argument from me.
Right, I know that. I know that because I listen to your show, and I listen to your show at the White House, in fact.
Oh, no kidding. Wow. Does anybody else? Is my show listened to at the White House by any of the left-wingers there?
Trust me, you don't want to know who all is listening to your show at the White House.
Oh, Lord. Okay, well, we'll leave that and get back to what we're talking about. So the White House, technology and science people want to stop the rising and the falling of tides. Do they have a plan, a way that they want to do that?
In a word, yes. And I want to suggest that your listeners sit down, take a deep breath, because this is going to shock and frighten and horrify many of the people, most everyone who's listening right now.
Okay, go ahead with it.
I need to step around the corner here and take a look around. I want to make sure that I'm not being observed. This is a very dangerous thing I'm doing.
No, I understand. And if you think this is too risky to yourself, to your family, we can cancel the interview. We don't have to go through with it.
is very dangerous to myself, to my family, to my friends, who knows, to my teammates, the people that I work with at the White House, but it is so important and so outrageous. It's just the American people need to know about this because Obama has already approved it.
Okay, well then let's do it. What is this plan that the White House has to stop the tides from rising and falling?
One of the senior scientists here at the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy has proposed a plan, and it's been reviewed by the team. They like the plan, and it's been discussed with Obama in the Oval Office, and it's my understanding that he smiled and said, let's go with it.
So Obama is already on board.
Yes, Obama is a big proponent of fighting supposed global warming, and he thinks that this plan is necessary to stop the rising and the falling of the tides. What they are planning.
And when is this supposed to happen?
Well, sooner than we think, probably, but what they are planning is to send an armed satellite into orbit and shoot the moon out of the sky.
Ah, because the moon is a big part of the rising and falling of tides.
Exactly. Their plan is to destroy the moon, shoot it right out of the sky.
Well, it seems to me that this would be disastrous on many levels. Forget the tides. Shooting the moon out of the sky is insane.
No question about it, but what can you tell someone who believes that global warming is a genuine problem in the first place? They're dealing in fantasy. They're dealing in fiction. They have no idea what they're talking about. These people are so dedicated to the politics of global warming that you cannot explain to them all of the harm that shooting the moon out of the sky would cause.
Well, with Obama on board, is there any possible way we can stop this?
You would like to think that with the American public informed, they could put pressure on Congress, but we already believe within the Office of Science and Technology Policy that many members of Congress are already secretly on board, including many moderate Republicans.
Holy cow. That is just unbelievable.
Yes, and like I said, they're going to try and do this sooner rather than later. Who is that across the street?
What's going on there?
There's someone sitting across the street in a tan sedan, and,
Well, look, Joe, if you need to go, if you need to dump the phone, I don't want to keep you. Okay, well, we've lost the call. So there you have it. The Obama administration, within the Office of Science and Technology Policy, has a plan to stop the tide from rising and falling by shooting the moon out of the sky. We've been talking with Joe, a White House insider within the Office of Science and Technology. I'm Jimmy Z. This has been a special report from the JimmyZShow.com.
The Jimmy Z Show.